Hello and welcome to FPL Mate, your best mate for fantasy Premier League content for the 2022-23 season. My name is Dan and I've just realised my backlighting is not on. We need to put some lighting in the background. Oh, there we go. Isn't that so much prettier with the purple lights going on in the background? So much better, guys. So much better. Today, guys, we have got a Gameweek 33 deadline on a Tuesday. It's not something we see very often, but I enjoy it. It means more football, more Premier League to come, which I'm feeling good about that. I'm enjoying the fact we've got a lot of football to watch at the moment. In fact, over the next 10 days, I think it's 9 out of the next 10 days, we've got football on. In fact, it might even be more than that. It might be like, I think it is more than that because we've got every day pretty much for the next week and a bit. Yeah, it's about 10 days. So we've got a lot of football coming up, which means a lot of FPL as well. So hopefully you guys are ready for an intense period of fantasy football at the end of this season. It's going to be a bit fun, right, guys? Going to be a little bit fun. So plenty to talk about today, guys. We have got some kind of injury and rotation news that's kind of come out today. We have also got, I think, a bench list that we need to do, which I didn't realise until about 5 minutes ago. I kind of thought, oh, wait, yeah, this week is kind of a bench list, kind of a game week. So I feel like we're going to have to do a bench list today. So we'll fill that up today. We'll go through it and hopefully get some solid answers. I've got my team on screen at the moment. Hopefully it looks okay. Yeah, there was some minor doubts about Fernandes, of course, but aside from that, yeah, I think my team is looking pretty good to go. But I do want to go through Fernandes. I do want to go through Brighton as well, because I know that's something that people are thinking about as well. And, you know, kind of some transfer options that you guys are going to have at your disposal. We're going to be answering plenty of your questions. So, yeah, hopefully we'll have a good one over the next hour. And, yeah, thank you very much for joining. So, I think we start off by having a look at Bruno Fernandes. And I have no doubt that we will have to cover this again before the end of the stream. But we'll go through it once now, and then we'll go through it again kind of later, I guess. But first of all, let's have a look at this tweet that was kind of posted by the United Stand, but it is from Bruno Fernandes' wife's Instagram account. Is it Instagram? I think it's Instagram. I don't know. I don't actually follow Bruno Fernandes' wife. There is Bruno's wife via Instagram. So we have got this picture of Bruno Fernandes in what looks like a bit of a sticky situation because he's obviously wearing some kind of boot. He's got some protective footwear on the floor there at the bottom, you guys can see, and a pair of the old crutches. Now, I know this is very scary. This is a very scary image if you're either a United fan or a Bruno Fernandes owner. So I want to kind of whiz through what we are actually seeing on our screen right now and try and kind of persuade you that it's not quite as bad as it looks. So first of all, what we see on his foot is a kind of an ice compression boot type thing, which is a kind of a little contraption that goes on your foot and it kind of pumps and gets your blood flowing nicely in your foot, which is very useful for your foot. I'm sure there's other pumping devices that help generate blood flow that are useful for other body parts as well. But we're talking about the foot one in this instance. So yeah, this is to help here the inflammation in his foot go down a little bit, and yeah, hopefully to see if there's see how well the foot is doing, and I think that it's gonna be a kind of worst case scenario. Ligament damage, a little bit of ligament damage, which for an ordinary person will probably take a couple of weeks to kind of recover from that. But professional football under professional circumstances, and a player like Bruno Fernandes, who has never missed a Manchester United game through injury, he's missed 2 games ever through illness. That is it. So he is a player who will play if possible. Super important to Manchester United and the way they play as well. So yeah, it's a compression boot, and it's going to help him out to try and get him back and ready as quickly as possible. It's used kind of in aid to get players ready after a little bit of inflammation, a little bit of swelling. If there's some kind of problems, minor problems with the foot, that can be used and is used by a lot of professional football players. We don't often see it necessarily because it's not often that players' wives will post pictures like this on Instagram. It's kind of a little bit of a rare occurrence, but that is the situation. It's not uncommon for football players to have these kind of things on their feet and be ready, you know, a few days later maybe, but more often than not, it's probably going to be like, you know, a little bit more than that, maybe a week. That's kind of a week injury kind of thing before he will be back and ready to go. 5 days is probably about right, what you could expect for him to come back. Those of you guys looking at the crutches, looking at the protective boots, again, that is just to keep the pressure off the foot. It's, you know, if you're trying to decompress the foot, you're trying to get the blood flow moving. It's a bit counterintuitive to then be walking around on it, so you've got to have that protection around it, particularly if there is a little bit of ligament damage in there, and obviously the crutches, so you can keep the weight off the foot and allow the this special boot to do its magic, basically, and that's what we're hopefully going to see. So, yes, I do still feel like Bruno is a doubt for this game week. I do think he has a doubt for this game week. I'm not 100% sure if he's going to start against Spurs. But what I would say is that he either starts or he doesn't. He's either available or he's not. I don't think we're going to see reduced minutes. I don't think we're going to see him not playing and coming off the bench or something like that. He either plays or he doesn't play, and that's kind of the Bruno situation in my personal opinion. Obviously, I don't know everything. I'm not, you know, I'm not there. I'm not assessing his medical history or his medical situation. I'm not in the locker room, so I don't know exactly what's going on. But all we can do really here is give our best guess, and that would be my personal best guess, is that there's a chance that he'll be available for game week 33, but I think he's got a really good chance of being available for game week 34, where it is of course the double game week. Now, one more little thing here. We got a tweet from Jamie Jackson, who is I don't know if you can quite see that. You can just about see it. It's just kind of cropped off at the top there. But we have got a tweet from him. He's a guy kind of in the know of Manchester United, who has said that Bruno F's protective boot is a precaution, is the understanding. So it's kind of there as a precautionary thing. He's not got this big long-term injury or anything like that. I know people see the boot and they see the crutches and they think, oh, he must have broken his leg. But yeah, often is the case. It's nothing quite that serious. So yeah, there is a concern. There is a serious concern. And I think if you have Bruno Fernandes in your team and you've decided to keep him, which I don't think is essential, I don't think he's essential. You can definitely sell him if you're really worried about that. But if you were to keep him, I would make sure that you do have your bench lined up nicely and make sure you have got that player on your bench prepared to come in, and a player that you're happy and willing to play for game week 33 if Fernandes is not available. So I think that's going to be absolutely fine to do that. Quick super chat from Nikhil, who says, hi friendo, 74 points with free hit in game week 33. Not too bad, my friend. To 27k. What transfer is ideal now? Plan to take a -4 in game week 34. Kane to Jota, Saka to March, planning Bruno to Salah in double game week 34. I don't even think you need to, you know, I would say that if you're going to sell Bruno, do it now. If you think you're going to do it anyway, because he's not going to be, because we're not convinced that he's going to be available for this game week, I don't know. I feel like you can probably afford to just sell him now if you're going to sell him eventually anyway, because I think the chances of him playing in game week 33 are kind of probably less than 50%. So yeah, do it now. But yeah, in terms of those other transfers, Saka to March looks pretty good. I like the look of that one. I don't think Kane to Jota is a must-do transfer move by any stretch of the imagination. I think Kane actually probably has just as much, if not better, chance of getting FPL returns in this game week. Remember, Manchester United are missing a few key defenders there, and Kane is a very ever-reliable player. Despite Spurs' weaknesses, Kane always has that ability to score there. So yeah, I feel like Kane is still you know, definitely a player that I would be willing to keep for this game week. If you want to load up on those double game week players next game week, absolutely fine. But if you want to take a -4, Saka to March and Bruno to Salah now, assuming you're going to do Bruno to Salah at some point anyway, then I would just do that now. I think that would be, this kind of like minor injury would be the tipping point for me to say, just do it now. Just do it now. Yes, Salah could do well against West Ham. You know, we could definitely see that happening. Yeah, but Kane to Jota, I know people talking about selling Kane. I feel like I would only sell Kane this game week if it was to get Erling Haaland in, or if it was to save money to get Salah in. I've seen a lot of people who just want to do a straight swap from Kane to someone else. I don't know if I'd necessarily do that. And particularly with players like, you know, Alexander Isak. I know a lot of people are talking about buying Isak for this game week. I'm not 100% convinced that Isak is going to be playing in game week 33. We have seen it in the past, and I'll kind of bring that up on screen just so we can have a little look. But we have seen in the past when Newcastle play twice in 1 week. So, for example, we can see here, you know, 3 games within 7 days. We have Man United, West Ham, and Brentford. And the West Ham was the midweek fixture. And yes, he didn't start in that game. And we have seen that kind of happen before. Isak rotated with Wilson on the odd occasion because Wilson is fine. Wilson is a very good player as well. Isak is certainly, not such an essential player to Newcastle that they can't play a game without him. And they do tend to rotate him when fixtures come a little bit thicker and faster. So I can definitely see Isak being rotated. I'm not saying it's definitely going to happen by any stretch of the imagination, but I think there's going to be at least, 30-40% chance that Isak, is on the bench. He could probably do something from the bench. He could probably do some damage from the bench, in fairness. So I'm not writing Isak off entirely, but if we're talking about a straight swap that is nothing to do with saving money from Kane to Isak, I'm not necessarily sure I would actually do that personally. You could similarly say the same thing about Jota coming off the back of a kind of a long-term injury. Is he going to be able to play twice in 1 week? I mean, yes, potentially, but is this an opportunity for a rest for Jota? You would say logically, no, why would you rest a player who is doing amazingly? But this is Jurgen Klopp. He does like to rotate his team. There will be the occasional rotation when fixtures do get a little bit congested, and he seems to be happy to rotate players even if they're playing well as well. So Jota, I think, is more nailed on than Isak, but I still think there is sort of maybe a 20% chance, 30% chance that Jota doesn't start again. So when we're looking at these main replacement players for Kane, we are talking about rotation risk players, and Erling Haaland is the only straight swap I would do between those two players. If you really just desperately want to get Salah in for this game week for whatever reason, and that's absolutely fine, then that would be the only reason I would go for one of Isak or Jota. I would prefer to go for Jota just because Jota has the double game week next game week, kind of in the immediate term future. Big game against Spurs. That's going to be important to get Liverpool above Spurs in the table, if at all possible. So, potential full strength in that game, which you would say does involve Jota right now. He has just been so good recently over the last couple of games. But would prefer to go for Jota as a Kane replacement if I had to, and if I had to downgrade Kane. Isak, he does have this Everton fixture. It's okay. But after that, we've kind of got that Arsenal at home game. We've got a Brighton game. But I suppose by game week 26, we do have a double game week. So is this, in fact, the time you want to get Isak in for 36? Game week 36 double? I think that would probably be the time I'd want to get him in. No double in 34. I know he plays against Southampton, but are you even going to play him? If you look over the next 3 fixtures for Isak, you'll play him against Everton, of course. He probably drops to your bench in game week 34 because you're going to have all of these double game week players, hopefully. And then against Arsenal, you probably would possibly play him, but maybe not. Again, it depends on some of your other players there as well. Your Brighton players have got a good fixture in game week 35. You probably prefer them to Isak potentially. So it's difficult. I'm not fully convinced by buying Isak at this exact juncture because I feel like game week 34 is a slight rotation risk. The next 2 game weeks after that, you might not even be wanting to play him when you look at some of the other players in your squad. And then game week 36, that is where I would want him. So, I would probably say that. Assad in the super chat says Bruno to Salah, Martinelli to Rashford, and Kane to Isak -8. I mean, if you want to, I mean, probably not a move I would do personally. If I could do Martinelli straight to Rashford for no hit, I would probably do that and then reassess next game week. I think that's also a huge advantage, guys, as well. Anurag, thank you for the super sticker there. If you've got a message, make sure you put it in the chat and I'll keep an eye out for it. I would say that information is really powerful as well, especially when we're looking at targeting double game week players. The closer we can get to the double game week 34 deadline before making our transfers, I think is really beneficial. So if you're going to take a big minus, I would rather take the minus next game week than this game week, particularly if you're not making super essential transfers. And I don't think Kane to Isak or Kane to Jota is an essential transfer. I think it's very luxury. I like Martinelli to Rashford, but even that is not super luxury. To get Salah in for Fernandes could be pretty nice, but I can see some people's, some of your bench options that you guys are going to have right now. I can see some of these players outscoring Salah potentially. I mean, if we look at last game week, for example, with Salah, you would say that he was pretty lucky to get attacking returns in that game because he was really quite wide, and maybe that's something that we're going to see if we kind of look at the last couple of game weeks for Salah. We'll go total rather than per appearance. So yeah, over the last 2 game weeks, we've seen Salah quite wide on the pitch. He's only managed to take, he's only managed to generate 1.12 XG. Yes, he's got 3 goals during that time, but you have have to kind of look at that and say, you know, that's kind of a little bit of luck there. No, these kind of numbers are not sustainable for any player. It's no criticism to Salah. It's just not possible for any kind of football player to be that clinical. It's not even just down to you. It's about the goalkeepers. It's about the opposition. It's about all kinds of things. So, yeah, I don't know if necessarily Salah is guaranteed to kind of get returns. And considering his oppositions over the last couple of games as well, and the kind of situations that he's found himself in, I just don't think it's. I don't think it's, you know, any guarantee really that Salah is going to outperform the likes of, you know, if we go Martinelli for the last couple of game weeks, you know, it's kind of the numbers are not really that different. If we go to, you know, if you go to the Brighton boys, for example, so just go Brighton players, have a look at some of them. Again, you can kind of see that some of these players are, you know, performing quite well, generating a decent amount of XG. That's only one game, so if we just take that to the last 2 games, maybe, if we can get to that, I don't know. There we go. Yeah, so if we get something like that, some of these other players are doing quite well. If you do kind of expected goal involvements, March 1.1 there, pretty decent. Yeah, Salah is definitely a really good option. But I don't think he's essential this game week. I think next game week is a game week you would really like to have Salah in, if nothing else, but for safety and to cover yourself. But I don't think you have to take -8 to get Salah in this game week. I mean, I would rather wait, get a bit more information, and go again next game week and kind of reassess the situation. That's me personally. I would rather just wait one more week, to be honest. Like if we're looking at players most likely to score points this game week, we can go and have a look at the predicted points. So this is the artificial intelligence generated points here. I'll just answer a couple of super chats while you guys can look at some of these numbers here for predicted points. Star Ahmed says Kane and Bruno to Salah and Jota this week instead of next. We'll want to sell Bruno even if he is fit for Game Week 34. Yeah, if you're planning on selling Bruno even if he is fit, then yeah, do it. Then do it. You may as well do it now, because you guarantee yourself a fixture from Salah where you can't guarantee that from Bruno, particularly if you don't have a good bench option there as well. But you have also said you've got March or Grealish, which you're thinking about benching. I wouldn't bench March. There's no way I would be benching March. Grealish, I think you could bench, but he's an absolutely fine backup option, really. I wouldn't even love to bench Grealish, to be honest. I think a bench list is probably in order here, really, isn't it? But yeah, if it means benching one of March or Grealish, maybe you don't need to make that move this week. Like, genuinely. I don't think you need to make that move. If you would, it's going to be completely up to you. Would you rather wait one more week for the extra information, or do you just want to get it done now? For me personally, like I say, I mean, first of all, I want to keep Bruno, and second of all, I would rather wait for the information. So personally, for me, I would wait for the information and play my bench player. But that's going to be kind of up to you. It's still about your play style and stuff like that. Anurag says bench Mitoma, March, or Tony. None of them. You can't. I can't think of who's the other guy. Who are your other midfielders and forwards that you have to bench one of them? I guess if you had to bench one of them, who would I bench? Oh, that's so tricky. I guess I'd bench Mitoma. I guess, but I wouldn't. But I wouldn't bench him. I would bench, you know, if you've got Grealish or Martinelli or someone like that, I would bench that player. If you've got Bruno Fernandes, I would bench him before I would bench Caldo Mitoma, I think. Oh, I guess you bench one of the Brighton boys, though. Pick one of them. Pick your favourite. I know everyone prefers Mitoma to March, so why don't you just bench March? Because everyone hates March other than me. Number one March fan over here. Harry Bow with the super chat here as well. Would you bench Bruno or Jack? Do you think Bruno makes a cameo off the bench? Okay, so first of all, I would bench Jack Grealish. Second of all, I do not think Bruno gets a cameo off the bench. I would make sure Jack Grealish is first on your bench, and I would hopefully play Bruno instead. -8 and do Bruno to Rashford is dumb, right? Took a -4 already. Is it dumb? It depends. You've got to get Rashford in for next game week, right? How are you going to do that? If you are planning on doing the Bruno to Rashford transfer next game week anyway, just do it now. Which I think is another thing when we're thinking about hits, when we're talking about hits. I feel like if you're going to do the move anyway, and the player that you're transferring out is a doubt for this game week, then it makes sense to just do it now. And take that -4. Frees up another transfer for future reference as well. But anyway, guys, just looking at points predictions for this game week. We've got Erling Haaland, number 1 here. He's highest predicted points, but he is joint alongside Harry Kane. So, again, I do feel like that is something that does need to be considered here. That Harry Kane is joint top highest predicted points for this game week. So, according to the artificial intelligence, which has been doing really, really well this season and really, really nailing a lot of things, there is no better forward than Kane. Even Haaland is only equal to him, so there's not really too much point in selling him for no good reason. Rashford up here, 6.2, Watkins 6.1, McAllister 6, Salah down at 5.9, which is kind of similar to these Brighton boys. So March and Mitoma there as well, and Trippier and Isak coming in slightly below them as well. So there's some of your highest predicted points players. Fernandes down at 5 predicted points, and that's due in part to his lower predicted minutes due to his potential injury there. All right, guys, you guys have been begging for the bench list, so let's get that going. All right, so I'm going to start off filling in some players on the bench list, but whilst I'm doing that, I want you guys to throw some names in the chat of the kind of players you are considering benching this week. So, yeah, crack on with that whilst I do this, and I'm going to first of all put in Rashford, Salah, March, Mitoma there, and I'm going to put Grealish and Martinelli here. So there's your kind of order, your rough order of the most popular midfielders there. And I would probably put McAllister in the same kind of bracket as these guys. Where would I put him? I'll maybe put McAllister like there. Potentially. I think I'll put him about there. Possibly. My word, that's a lot of players, guys. All right, Saka. So Saka I will put below Martinelli. I know people want to play the more expensive midfielder, but price is not everything in FPL. Sometimes the cheaper player is actually the more effective player. Elise I'll put below all of them. See if people got Elise. I'm going to put Eze in here as well. We're all on midfielders. There's so many midfielders. All right, we've got some kind of defenders here as well. I'm not going to put the injured players in. So, yeah, so we've got some... So, Tony... Let me just remind myself who Tony is playing. Chelsea away, though. It's away. So, would I actually bench Tony? Tony is a really difficult one. He will go above Elise, Eze, Saka, Martinelli, McAllister, and... probably Grealish as well. I'm going to put Tony in here. I'm going to put Tony in there. Or am I? This is an away game for Brentford. They're not as good away from home. No, you know what? No, I'm going to keep Tony in there. We're going to keep Tony in there. Zinchenko, let's start filling in some defenders. So Zinchenko is going to pretty much, you know what, I'm going to put Zinchenko, White and Gabriel all together because I know this bench list is going to get full up with all kinds of similar players that people have got. I'll put Shaw above all of those. I would put Chilwell above all of those. Still, I would back the attackers on a game week like this. You know what, in fact, I probably would put Chilwell above, probably Elise, but not Eze. Botman, I would put in similar kind of situation. You know what? I think I would actually, and this is kind of different to what I've actually laid my team out. I think I would actually put Botman ahead there. So I'm going to save my team. So yeah, we'll put Botman ahead of Luke Shaw. People asking about Nathan Ake. He's injured. So he's not even going on the bench list. Henry against Chelsea. Yeah, maybe here. Maybe there. People are asking about Maddison as well. Leicester play against Leeds. Yeah, it was only illness, so he should hopefully be back. I think I'll play Maddison like here. Not super high. Okay, so people are asking about... I'm not gonna put in Brighton defenders. You just play your Brighton defenders. Or is it really not that obvious? All right, well, if it's not obvious, I would play Brighton defenders ahead of, like, pretty much most of these players. I'd put them up, like, in amongst the... I'll put Estupinian in somewhere. Where would I put him? Probably, like, here. I'm going to put Estupinian in there. Oh, no, that's the wrong thing. I'm going to put Lewis Dunk a little bit lower, to be fair. I'm going to put him, like... I don't know. Let's put him up just above Chilwell. Okay. I'm going to put Dalot next to Shaw as well. For those of you guys who have those kind of players. Pinnock, he can go next to Henry. Moreno. It's not a bad fixture for Moreno. I would probably play him. I'd probably play him. He'd go pretty high. I'll put him above Lewis Dunk. Jananya says, Buonanotte for the bench list. Okay. I'm going to put him, like, right at the bottom. Do not buy him. Do not play him. What a waste of a... I'm only putting him in there, Jananya, because you super chatted it. And I know you're a regular. I know you're a regular of the chat, but it's not a good pick. I don't like that as a pick at all. I would not buy him. Like, he's not going to be playing every game. It's kind of just a bit of rotation because Brighton have been playing so much recently. Okay. What are some other players that are popular here? So Bowen and Erdegaard I've seen, and Jota. I mean, you play Jota for God's sake. I'd rather play Jota than Salah. I'm going to put Burn next to Botman as well, of course. Right, what other players did I say I was going to put? I said I've put Erdegaard and Bowen in. Actually, no, not really. Maybe when you put Bowen in, Isak as well. I'll put Isak in probably here. Bowen would be pretty low. I'm not going to lie. Probably put him like below. I'd probably put him like below Elise, to be honest. Erdegaard, I would put lower than Martinelli, lower than Saka. Probably like here. Let's just put him next to the Arsenal boys. In fact, should we put him just right next to Saka? No, I feel like Saka is slightly better. Fabian Schär, all right. He can also go... Actually, I want to put Schär slightly higher. I do like Schär. I do like Fabian Schär. He's got that attacking potential, more so than some of these other defenders, to be fair. So I'm actually going to put Fabian Schär there. I'll put him a little bit higher. Would you captain Isak? No, I wouldn't even put him near the top of my bench list. There's still a lot of players above him. All right. There's a lot of other players that you guys are asking about. All right, I've put Jota in, but people are still asking about him. So if I turn it to Diogo Jota, does that make it a little bit more obvious? Maybe. Isak's already on there. Dan Burn's already on there. A lot of the names you're mentioning there, guys, are already on there. Watkins, are we really... Watkins goes to number one. I'm sorry. He's going to number one. I don't even know why this is even a question. Duncan Crawford, nice to see you, mate. Would you not play Villa defenders over Brighton ones? Playing at home, Forest have been scoring and Fulham are on the beach. I mean, Forest is still putting up some really, really poor attacking numbers. Really poor attacking numbers. And I know they've scored the odd goal, but that's in part due to the oppositions they've faced. Like Liverpool are a bad defence, for example. Brighton are a strong defence. And yes, I would put, like Alex Moreno, I'd put him above Lewis Dunk there, of course. But Purpose Stupinian has got slightly better attacking kind of output than Moreno. And I feel like he plays for a better defence in the better fixture as well. So I wouldn't be quite as comfortable putting Alex Moreno as high as Stupinian, but you know, we can stick Mings in here, I guess. I do feel like I like those Aston Villa defenders. Like in terms of looking at the defenders on this list, the defenders here are really only Stupinian. The only two players above Alex Moreno on this list are Stupinian and Schär. So yeah, and maybe Lewis Dunk ahead of Mings. But yeah, like I always back the attacker, so all of the attackers are much higher on this bench list. But for the defenders, they're, you know, the Aston Villa defenders, I agree, they're good picks for this game week. Not that players I'd necessarily buy, but yeah, if you have them, you play them, don't you? You certainly do. Vitislav says, thanks for the list. Good luck. Have a good game week. Thank you very much, mate. Thank you for joining today and for the super chat. Suryanch says, Ollie/Jota for Tony or Rashford for Elise? No, Rashford for Elise straight up. Tony is fine for this game week. Like, he's a pretty... Would I like to have Ollie Watkins, though? I would like to have Ollie Watkins, but you're probably going to bench him next game week anyway. Whereas Tony, you could really play next game week. So I would do Rashford for Elise. I think I would. Solanke, yeah, that's another one that I haven't quite put in. Where would I put Solanke in here? Anna Rude says, how nailed is Jota for 5 game weeks? Should buy Salah instead? You can buy whoever you want to. Salah is definitely more nailed for minutes, but I think Jota is slightly more explosive at the moment. But yeah, Jota should play most games between now and the end of the season. It's not like Liverpool could down tools. They need to play their best players if they want a chance of getting Champions League football this season. Who did I say I was going to put in? I can't remember. Maybe the fixtures will remind me. Oh, it was Solanke, wasn't it? All right, let's put Solanke in. Let's put him reasonably high. Would I start him ahead of Grealish? Probably. Let's put him in there. He would be in this kind of zone, somewhere around here. Apparently I missed the super chat. Did I really? I thought I got them all. I think because so many people are spamming names in the chat, which to be fair, I did ask for. I've maybe missed one, but let's have a look. Hawksy. Oh, there you go, Hawksy. Wildcard, Isak and Martial or Watkins and Greenwood. No bench boost. Watkins and Greenwood then. I'd go Watkins and Greenwood. I think Watkins could do some damage this game week. I really think he could. I think that's the super chat's caught up with now. Oh, dearie me. Dearie me. Okay, do we need to add people saying Kane, like, you know, for the bench list? Like where would I put Kane? Like pretty high. Like up here somewhere. You know what? Would I really put Jota that high? Would I even put these higher than? I don't know if I would, you know. I'm actually going to move the Liverpool boys down a little bit. I think I'm going to put Kane down a little bit more. I'm still going to put him above the Liverpool boys, though, for this game week. I don't know if that's right or not. They're definitely in a similar area, Kane and the Liverpool boys. I don't think there's that much of a difference between them. I'm leaning Kane, though, to be honest. Matt says Botman and Trippier or Henry instead of Botman. What does the bench list say? What did I put on the bench list? We'll see if that gives us an answer. The bench list says play your double Newcastle defence. But it's kind of up to you. Like, if you want to spread the risk a little bit, go for Henry. But if you're happy to double down on the Newcastle defence, I think player by player, you'll probably put them there. Cody Gakpo, yeah, not so high. We'd go lower. Probably like, I don't know, I'd probably rather play Martinelli than Cody Gakpo, to be honest. Saka, would I play with Saka or Gakpo? Somewhere around here. I think somewhere around there. Oh, you know what? Thing is, there's so many great options. I'd like to play a lot of these players. Zachariah. Hello, Dan. It's me, the Blackcurrant Squash Toast guy. Let's see the Blackcurrant Squash Toast. I'm so sorry, Zachariah. I've got orange squash today. I really have. Guys asking for a captaincy poll as well. I think we can get that up. Okay, so the popular captains for this game week. Well, it's definitely going to be Erling Haaland. Because he's always there. Who is the best game week 33 captain? So, Erling Haaland, Salah, who I know a lot of people are going to be captaining. I think Watkins deserves a shout, so I'm overruling. I'm all overruling it and putting him in there. Maybe, who else? Rashford, maybe? Rashford or a Brighton player? What do you reckon, guys? Who would you rather play as your captain? Is there anyone thinking of anyone captaining anyone other than Haaland, Salah and Watkins? Let me know. And just say in the chat, like, captain, and then a player, like Captain McAllister, Captain Jota, Captain Rashford. Let me know in the chat, and then we'll add that as the final option. Or should I just put other? In fact, yeah, forget that. I'm putting other. Yeah, sorry. Forget what I said. Sorry, guys. I'm putting it. What are you saying now? There we go. Let's continue with the bench list whilst we're doing. I mean, the bench list is pretty darn full. Add Saka to the poll? Really? You guys are going to captain Saka against Manchester City? I mean, hey, it could come up. But it's good to see some of your suggestions. Some of you guys saying Captain Mitoma. A couple of you guys, Captain March, Captain Jota. Yeah, loads of people saying Captain Haaland. We kind of expected that. Oh, Serendip Tipsy. Oh, sorry, I've missed your super chat. Don't worry, I've got it on screen, but I just forgot to read it. Serendiptipsy says, hey Dan, how you feel about Watkins captain? He's my second favourite for this game week. He's my second favourite. He really is, which is maybe controversial. So, look, I'm not going to advocate for going differential in a game week like this. I think Erling Haaland is the standout captain for the game week. But if you are really desperate to go differential, I would say that Watkins and Salah are the two next best options. And I feel like that's kind of reflected in the captaincy poll we've got going at the moment as well. Haaland way out in front, 74% right now. Watkins 10%, Salah 9%, other 7%. So if you really want to go for a differential, yeah, I like Watkins. But I'm not going to, I'm not going to encourage that one too much, I guess. I'm not going to encourage it too much. All right, some people are asking for John Stones. If you really... All right, shall we let's reduce the text size so we can get more players on the bench list. It really is one of those weeks where we've got big bench dilemmas where we're having to make the bench list text really small. I hope some of you guys can still read this. But we'll put John Stones in here. He's not going to be very high. I mean, like here. I'll put Stones in there, or you know, if you have Diaz or any City defender. Yeah, they're really low, really low. Is it good to start Grealish this week? I mean, it's not bad if you've not really got many other players. I mean, there's other players who I'd prefer to play, but there's lots of players who I would play Grealish ahead of, yeah. I would play Grealish. Oh, I did get that right. Keeper bench list. All right, let's do a mini keeper bench list at the bottom. I'm going to... Actually, I need to remind myself. I'm going to change up the bench list a little bit so it's a little bit more structured, so we can have maybe position by position bench lists. That might be pretty good. Or actually, no, because that's not always the case, is it? Sometimes you don't need position by position. All right, in that case, but we'll do like a mini bench list for goalkeeper. So I'll put Kepa, Ederson, possibly put Raya above them. Oh, why are you so big, Raya? You're so big. Shrink. Shrink, my boy. Shrink. That's too much shrinkage. Wait, is it? What size am I looking for here? What size is that? 9. Size 9 font. Size 9 font, please, everyone. There we go. There's your mini goalkeeper bench list. Like, I would still put Iverson at the bottom here because he's Iverson. Why is Rashford so much higher than Saka? Because he's playing against Spurs, who are in very big trouble. And Saka is playing against Man City, who are the best defence in the league at home and in very good form at the moment when Arsenal are in a bit of turmoil and Saka has found himself not as effective recently. We've got some Show Team members of the chat. Show Team gang, what is up, guys? It's nice to see you. A little bit early today, Show Team gang. But, yeah. Feel free to come back in about 10 minutes, El Nino, and join the rest of the Show Team gang, where you will be here in your droves. What about Jason Steele? I mean, I'm not even 100% sure Steele is going to be starting. I mean, actually, that's the other thing I meant to show you. All right, let's do this. I know you guys probably just want bench list for the rest of the stream, but it's not going to happen. So here is something else. So I've got 2 tweets here from Brighton. In fact, let's do this one first. This one's a bit more boring. Super chat from Nick R says, Saka to March done. Best first sub, Totti or Martinelli. Martinelli first sub, back the attacker. Right, okay, so this is Brighton's official account. They've said, this is a quote from the manager, De Zerbi, who says, I have no doubts about Rob Sanchez. When I decided Jason played, it was about style of play. Rob played very well on Sunday. Tomorrow we will see. So, you know, he speaks about Jason Steele in the past tense there a little bit. And it does look to me like Sanchez is back in contention. So I know that's probably going to be worrying, but I mean, what are you going to do about it now? Like, if you've got Steele, you've probably got another goalkeeper as well. Just if you want to start Steele, and if you have Steele and you want to start him, I mean, I back it. In fact, I'm going to put him like fairly high on the bench list. Let's put him first, but like, you start him, but that doesn't mean that he's going to get you the points. I would still start him. But there's a good chance that he doesn't play, to be honest. So, yeah, so that's a bit of news, number 1 there. We've got a bit more news here as well. So yeah, this is why Buonanotte has somehow made the bench list. But this again from Brighton, from De Zerbi, who said, tomorrow Facundo Buonanotte will start from the first minute. So Buonanotte is starting the game. He says, I'm trying to understand the right moment to put young players on the pitch. Sometimes it is better to wait. And I think the kind of situation here is basically that, you know, there's a lot of games for Brighton, and the young players are going to have to come in and cover at certain points. And the kind of impacts of this. Hang on, Anna Rude asked me a question on the super chat, so I'll answer that quickly. Any news on Ake? Should I sell him? I would probably. I don't know. He's not going to play this game week, but you never know. Could be back. Probably not even worth the risk. Yeah, I guess sell him. Yeah, I guess sell Ake. Anyway, back to this. So yeah, Buonanotte is going to be playing. Buonanotte either plays kind of behind the striker in an attacking midfield position, but he is capable of playing on either wing as well. He has played as part of a midfield three as well, but that's not going to happen really with Brighton. So we're looking at Buonanotte, who is going to be coming in and taking the position of one of March, McAllister, or Mitoma. I don't know which one exactly, but it's going to be one of those three. Now, if it is McAllister, that could mean McAllister drops down into the central defensive midfield position. Slim chance that McAllister goes to striker, or one of the wingers goes to striker, I guess, because there's no Welbeck and no Ferguson at the moment, and Undav seems to be out of favour a little bit. I don't think Buonanotte will play as the central striker. I'll say that one. But yeah, he's going to take the position of one of March, McAllister, or Mitoma, and I don't know which one it's going to be. In a way, you kind of hope it's you know, for everyone's benefit, it'll be if he takes the place of McAllister, really, because at least then McAllister will still start. He'll just be starting in a different position, which is also another reason why I have put McAllister as the as a little bit lower on the bench list today, because I think there's a good chance McAllister does play in CDM, and he's not going to be as creative or taking as many shots from a slightly deeper position. And Cisco will be the striker. Yeah, there's a chance Cisco will be the striker, but there's also a chance that Cisco is the man who comes out with the team to facilitate Buonanotte. In fact, if you had to, you know, gamble on who comes out of the team, it's probably Cisco who comes out, right? Logically speaking. And then McAllister drops into CDM. Maybe Pascal Gross plays as a false nine. We've seen that happen before. And there's just a little bit of a switch around there. So I don't know. All we know is Buonanotte is going to start and someone's going to miss out. Hopefully it's not one of the main guys, but if it is McAllister, it means he's going to move position. You never know. We could see like Solly March or Kaoru Mitoma playing at striker. It's possible, I guess, given the lack of striker options at Brighton at the moment. People asking about De Gea. I'm guessing that's for the bench list. Let's make these even smaller because I am still running out of room. Okay, De Gea I would put like here. Probably play De Gea in ahead of Edison. But that's about it. Oh my God, there's still more people to put on the bench list. I think we're done. I think we're done for the bench list. We've got all the main guys, right? We've got the main guys. Anyone else is just so super differential. To be honest, if you've got a player who is not on this list, it probably means they're right at the bottom. Probably. Unless it's like De Bruyne. De Bruyne I would put towards the top of this, but all of the other players that are not on this bench list, apart from like the super obvious people that you obviously are going to play, they're probably at the bottom. Sam says best Ake replacement for 6 million or under. Luke Shaw maybe, but you probably wouldn't play him this game week anyway. We probably weren't planning on playing Ake this week. Luke Shaw is definitely a shout. Diogo Dalot, if you want to go a bit more out there. Well, if you haven't got Purvis Estupinian, then it's him. As long as you already have two Brighton midfielders. What other defenders? Let's have a look. Let's have a look at the predicted points for defenders coming up over like the next few game weeks. So, yeah, can't afford Trent. Can't afford Trippier, Robertson, or Van Dijk. I mean, Diaz you could do. Not huge on that one. I will go for Purvis Estupiñán if you don't have him. Hey, John Stones is an option. John Stones is an option if you want to keep the City defender. If you want to keep a City defender there. Canate you could potentially go for. Take advantage of the double game week. Get another Newcastle defender in there in preparation for double game week 36. You could go for... probably wouldn't go for Chilwell, but, you know, I guess he's an option. Yeah, hopefully that's given you a few different ideas. What would I do personally? I would probably... Well, it depends who you have already. Purvis Estupiñán would be my number one choice. Assuming you have 0 other defenders in your entire team. Put Grealish on the bench list. He's already on there. Right, guys, if you... Right, and I see a few other questions. Maybe some of you guys are new to the bench list, and that's absolutely fine. I welcome you. And I'm going to blow your mind here. You're going to enjoy this one. But... what you're seeing on screen right now, guys, is the bench list. And basically, it's a priority order of who you should play. So I know a lot of you guys ask questions in the chat, and I've tried to help us along a little bit because there's so many questions that always say, should I play A or B? And often they're the same kind of players. Should I play Watkins or Rashford this game week, for example? So... if you have that question, for example, you look at the bench list, you see you can find Watkins, you can find Rashford, but Watkins is ranked higher than Rashford. He's higher on the play side than the bench side. So you play what? So my advice on that, or my personal opinion, I would personally play Watkins ahead of Rashford. If you've got Solly March and you've got Solanke and you don't know who to play, well, again, March is higher on the bench list, so you play them. So have a look. Through the players, see if you can find the player. To be fair, I know that sometimes it is difficult to find the players. Maybe I could do this as a tier list. Maybe I should start doing this as the bench list as a tier list. It would take a long time to get all of the player images for like pretty much every player. That's the only problem. But if I just like picked out like the, I don't know, the 40 most popular, or like, I don't know, like 40 or 50 most popular players and then just slap them all on the bench list. But yeah, I don't know. Well, I'll have a think about it, see if how we can make this a little bit better. But there we go. There we go. Luddy says, for the newbies, Dan is a god of FPL content creators for creating the bench list. We did create the bench list, yeah. We have actually pioneered a lot of styles of FPL content creation on this channel. I mean, I always used to think of myself as the new guy in the FPL world, but I've been around for like 3 years now. Almost. I'm not quite that old around here. But, yeah, we've been doing this for a couple of years now, so... yeah, we've come up with a few decent ideas. We've come up with a few decent ideas over the last couple of years that a lot of people have kind of taken on. 100 Expert series, did that here first, and a few other content creators are running similar series now. Tier list videos, that's new. Can't really remember what else I do, to be honest. That's about it. But yeah, no, I like coming up with new ideas and seeing how we can bring new and fun concepts to FPL. Anyway. Thomas Collier says, do I start Grealish, Fernandes or McAllister? Thomas, if only you consulted the bench list, you would see, my friend, that Fernandes, I believe, is the top out of those three. It goes Fernandes, then Grealish, then McAllister. So, therefore, you bench McAllister. But in all likeliness, Fernandes isn't going to start anyway, and you're going to get an auto sub there. But if Fernandes starts against Spurs, I want him there. I want him there. Buy, sell, keep, avoid. I mean, yes and no. But buy, sell, keep, avoid. Similar things had been done in the past by I can't remember. There was someone else who did a similarly named series. The structure wasn't the same, and it wasn't exactly the same name, but apparently there was a smaller creator who did that before. But hey, we may be pioneered by Sell, Keep, Avoid. 100 Experts is the best. Yeah, that's my favourite series as well. That's definitely my favourite series to run. But there we go. Hadsin, Hadsin Gan, I can see your messages. Consult the bench list, my friend. Why no 100 experts this week? Because that is the hardest video to make, because you really are depending on other people providing their information. And when we've got such a short turnaround before game weeks, it is just so hard to squeeze that data out of people, and it would end up being like 60 experts, which I don't think is quite good enough. And to be fair, that's something that I have got over some of the other 100 experts style of series. We always have the most amount of people. Certainly at this stage of the season, we always have 100. We don't go down to like 40 or whatever you can kind of scrounge together. We do 100, or we don't do the series. Because I really want that nice big data set. But yeah, it's just a difficult. That is the most difficult video to make in terms of logistics, which is why on a game week like this, it's kind of hard to make. Which I do apologise for not making it this week. It also probably means that it's going to be a struggle to do it for game week 34. I'm gonna try and get a 100 experts video out for game week 34, but it's gonna be tricky. It's gonna be tricky. The double, thank you very much for your message. I've seen it. I'm not going to read it out loud, but I really do appreciate the kind words. Akil says, start Tony or Martinelli, Kepa versus Raya. Akil, consult the bench list, my friend. Consult the bench list. Tony versus Martial. I've put Tony higher. Martial versus Martinelli. So I'd play Tony ahead of Martinelli, and I would play Raya ahead of Kepa, as per the bench list. And Francisco says, start De Gea or Martinez, 75% chance of playing. I would start Martinez. If it's not like Martinez is going to come off the bench if he's unavailable, is it? So I think it's absolutely fine. It's absolutely fine. Yeah, you can start Martinez, and you have De Gea to fall back on. Aditya says Focal has 300. Kind of. He has a pool of 300 people. But not all of them give their answers, and I think later on in the season it dwindles a little bit. But to be fair, at the start of the season, if you can get 300 solid answers, but yeah, that's also done on Google. Yeah, I do prefer my way. Like, all respect for Focal. Like he even said before he started his expert series, he even spoke to me and said, "Hey Dan, I really like your 100 expert series. Is it okay if I do the same thing?" And look, I want what's best for the FPL community. I want content, and I want the space to grow. And I don't own any of these ideas, so I said, yeah, of course. You don't really have to ask me. Go for it. But yeah, his method of doing the series is definitely something that I've explored. It would be a lot quicker if I did it his way, but I'm not convinced it would get the quality of data that I'm after. So we're happy to spend a little bit more time on it. But there we go. Zdenek says, bench one, Dan, please. I bet every single one of these players is going to be on the bench list, aren't they? They are, aren't they? I mean, I'm getting super chats. Yeah, I put I started the bench list so you guys didn't have to spend money on super chats to try and save you guys some money. But Zdenek, I will answer your question. Yes, Saka, Martinelli, Kane, and Rashford are all on the bench list. And who is the lowest one out of those? I believe it's Saka. Yes, it is Saka. He's the lowest on the bench list, so therefore we would bench Saka. There you go. There you go. Those of you guys asking about Liverpool defenders, just probably just play them. Is the strategy stream new? No, it's kind of been running for a couple of years on this channel. I think lots of people do random streams. The strategy stream it's just a random stream, really. I just call it a strategy stream, so I'm not going to pretend that's like anything really new or mind-blowing or anything like that. Captain choice, Salah or Haaland? I mean, I feel like I'm going to end the poll, but I feel like the poll has answered that question. So we have got Erling Haaland is by far the most popular captain choice here. Salah in second on 10%, Watkins in third on 8%, and other sitting at 5%. So we've got a clear favourite captain, a clear best captain, and a couple of differentials there as well. People asking if Steele will play. I don't know. It's not looking particularly positive. It's like 50-50 at this point. Certainly, I would be worried about the long-term future of Steele. But if Steele starts this game week, if he starts tomorrow, I guess that's a positive sign for you guys. There's no more cup games, so it's not like Sanchez is going to get cup games now. So could there be a bit of rotation? Of course there could be. Of course there could be. Yeah, I don't know. People asking if I'd start Bruno. Yes, I would, and yes, I will. Yeah, start Bruno. The worst case scenario is that he doesn't play, and then you just have whoever's first on your bench come in and take their place. To improve the bench tier list, maybe colour the names respective to their teams might make it easier to see. Yeah, I thought about that, but it could also make it harder to see. Like, for example, if I, like, take Rashford to, like, a red colour, is that harder to see? I don't know. Maybe it's easier. Watkins would be difficult, because that's like a... Yeah, Watkins would be hard to see. Can any of you... Some of you guys might not even be able to see Watkins on the screen anymore. Yeah, I mean, maybe. Take a while to colour in everyone as well, but we could. It's definitely something I thought about. Oh, we need to put Pope on the bench list here as well. All right, let's put Pope on. Okay. Where would I put Pope here? In all honesty, I'd probably put him reasonably high. Would I start Pope ahead of all of these? Yeah, I think I would. All right, Pope's going number 1 on the bench list. Oh, Iverson's dropped off, unfortunately. He is so far down the bench list, he's moved on to the next page. I'm so sorry, Iverson. I'm so sorry. Never mind. Joelinton on March? Oh, come on, Darren. Come on, Darren. It's March all the way. You're not going to get a different answer from me. If March is the question, March is the answer. As far as I'm concerned. Put flags on top and put the players sorted by a team below. I could do emojis. Could do emojis, but again, that's going to take some time. Have I got an emoji keyboard on my computer? No, I'll have to install one. Me on the bench list. Okay, he can go next to these guys. There you go. Now, you really want me to put Liverpool defenders on the bench list that badly? Fine, I will. Fine. Where would I put them? Like, there we go. Trent, Robbo, Van Dijk. There you go. They're on. Andreas, I don't know. Probably not. Probably don't play Andreas. Like, who are you going to start him ahead of? This is the thing. Is this not enough information? This is a disaster. The bench list is. I love doing the bench list, but when there's a million different players we could put on here, like, how many players do we put on the bench list before we say enough is enough? We've got enough. The bench list is full. No more people in. I think the bench list is done. I like the idea of positions. We could do, but I think the problem is with that, there is some defenders you would play above certain attackers. So, or like, you know, if you've got 5 good midfielders and 3 good forwards, you have to bench one of them. It's not necessarily a direct comparison between forwards and fellow forwards and midfielders and fellow forwards. So I don't think it quite works. I think they have to go in the same list. Goalkeepers can go in their separate list though. Show Team Gang is here. Is it really? Show Team Gang's here. And here we see the Show Team Gang in their natural habitat, crawling around FPL streams with 2 minutes to deadline, hoping to get a scrap of free information to follow. Toyn cost? We don't need a Toyn cost today. The captaincy is decided. Erling Haaland is the best captain. We don't need a coin toss to decide that one. Oh dear, unveil your team, son. Come on, unveil your team. That's a new one. I kind of like that. And it makes it sound a bit more grandiose. I kind of like that. Maybe I should unveil my team. I'll unveil someone else if you're not careful. No, I won't. No, I won't do that. I don't know why I said that. Oh dear. Alisson or Steele? I guess play... I don't know. I guess play Steele. You guys should already know my team. Watch my... It's still my video yesterday. Elite Attenborough impression. I said toin cost? No, I didn't. I said toin cost. You know, when you cost a toin. I'm saying it right. Oh, Hussein says show Tema. All right. Oh, you know what? Since so many of you guys are asking so nicely to see my team, I will show it to you on screen because I think it's important that we show off our team. So we haven't got long left, so I shouldn't waffle on for too much longer. But I'm going to show you my team on screen now. Oh, it's in the wrong place. It's on the fixtures, so I have to scroll up a little bit up here. There we go. And there we have it. That would be my team. There we go. Unveiled for the boys and girls. There we are. I might have been a bit. Was I a bit late? I don't know. There's a bit of a chat delay, guys. The deadline has passed for me now, but there might have been a bit of a chat delay, so I don't know if I showed my team on time. So maybe there's going to be a few disappointed members of the show team gang. I'm not sure. Let's see. But we're locked, guys. We are in. We are in. Congratulations on passing another deadline, particularly with this many bench dilemmas. It's been a rough one. It's been a rough one. And I'm sure a lot of people have been wanting to make transfers this game week and then kind of not sure if they wanted to I don't know. I'm not sure if they want to make transfers or save and make decisions next game week instead, take the hits next game week. I don't know. And here we have the show team gang once again in the FPL streamers chat. They grow fiercer and fiercer as they realize the team was not shown in time. They unsubscribe in their masses as the free information was not delivered to them in a timely fashion. Here you see them moving on to other streamers to see if they could find a crumb to scavenge some more free teams to copy for their own benefit. Hopefully they will be able to win future money leagues using their own abilities, though somehow I doubt it. Love you really, show team gang. Love you really, show team gang. You're legends of the channel. You are legends of the channel. Should we? What we got? We've got the first kickoff is Wolves versus Crystal Palace. Is there any point staying for the announcement for that team? Does anyone care? But like Johnston, we could, you never know. Guaita could maybe start. I don't know, possibly. Maybe that's gonna, throw the Johnston situation into the mix. Yeah, there's not too much interesting stuff going on. I'm glad you guys have been enjoying the the David Attenborough. I tell you what, I've been doing the Attenborough impression in my personal time for a while. And I thought the other day, maybe we could bring that into the streams at some point or another. So there we go. It's here. It's here. Have I just tuned into the David Attenborough FPL show? No. Show Team Gang are your biggest fans. They are my smallest fans. If the Show Team Gang really wanted to know what my team was, I posted a video like 8 hours ago that told you what I was going to do with my team. The information's been out there for 8 hours. The true fans would already know. But there we go. Bugger, we forgot to forget for Wolves' early team news. I know. Yeah, I don't know if that will affect too many people, if I'm totally honest. Should we just stick around for the sake of it? I've got nothing to do tonight other than watch football. I mean, I need to cook dinner at some point for myself and Mrs. FPL Mate. And rewatching Game of Thrones at the moment, actually. Finally got around to watching House of Dragons. That was really good. I really enjoyed that. And it kind of reignited a Game of Thrones fire in my belly. If you'll pardon the pun, because those dragons, they do have fires in their bellies as well. A Song of Fire and Ice. It reignited the fire in my belly, not so much the ice. So I'm rewatching that at the moment. That's going to take a long while. But I was disappointed with the ending of Game of Thrones, which kind of put me off the rewatch. Because it was a great show for so long. Never mind. What are you cooking? I don't know yet. Any suggestions? Any suggestions? Let me know. Ashwin says, currently revising for my GCSEs, Dan. What's your favourite circle theorem? Ashwin, you are clearly far more intelligent than me because I do not know what a circle theorem is. But, my friend, good luck on your GCSEs. I'm sure you're going to absolutely smash it. But keep revising. Don't get too distracted by FPL. We've got a little bit of time before the games kick off. You can even revise and watch the football at the same time. Ending wasn't good? Yeah, like the ending for Game of Thrones was not good, right? Spaghetti and Bean says, who's your favourite Game of Thrones character? Mine is Tywin Lannister. Tywin was a good character, to be fair, or is a good character. My favourite character? I think it's been so long since I originally watched it. I don't really know. I guess the answer is it's Jon Snow. Is that too boring of an answer? Probably too boring of an answer. Arya's a pretty good character. I like the Starks in general. They're pretty good. Pretty good, really. Big fan of the Stark family. Big up. Big up yourself. Opinions on my Danny Welbeck differential. He's injured, unfortunately. He's injured, right? Danny Welbeck's injured? Unless I've missed something and he's fit again. I thought he was injured. You rooting for Martinelli tomorrow? I guess so. I mean, I'm rooting for Arsenal tomorrow. That's for sure. Where's baby FPL Dan? No, there's no baby FPL Dan. Guys, if you know how much time I spend making FPL videos, you'll know I have no time to have a baby right now. I'm like, no word of a lie. So last night I was up until 4 a.m. editing a video. Then I needed to render that video, so I set the video to rendering. Set an alarm for 7 a.m. to start the upload. So 7 a.m. got up, looked at the rendering, made sure it was okay. Started the upload, put in the thumbnail that I'd already made last night. Video, title, description, got the upload going. Knew it was going to take, probably like 20 minutes to upload. So I thought, all right, I'll go back to sleep for a bit. Set another alarm for 8 a.m. to check that the upload was been successful. Make sure there was little ad placements in it. Make sure everything was looking good again. And then I posted the video. So last night, up until 4 making the video. Up at 7 to upload it, up at 8 to make sure the upload was all good and get it ready to post, and then posted the video, and then I was slept for another hour. And that's pretty much been the last week. I think I'm on, it was like 11 uploads in a week. No, 10 uploads and 3 streams in 1 week, which is just mad. Like, I can't believe I've done that many videos and streams over the last week. And that's including Saturday, where I actually had the day off because it was like mid-game week. It's been a madness. It's been an absolute madness. Mrs. FPL must love you. I mean, yeah, probably getting a bit annoyed with it. But, I mean, it's work, isn't it? She works as a paramedic, so she's often doing like 12-hour shifts and stuff, so it's no different, really. Working all kinds of hours. It's just work. It's just work. That's fine. Hey, Dan, what did you study at uni, college, sixth form? Studied media. Media production, actually, was the name of the course. So, it helps with YouTube. Originally wanted to be a TV presenter. Couldn't really get into it. Couldn't find my way into it, really. But, we are presenting of sorts. Ended up going into graphic design after uni. But then I think the media production and the graphic design combined made a good partnership, really, to do YouTube instead. Honest exact score, City versus Arsenal. Do you believe? Do I believe? No. Arsenal have to win this game, which means that City can, to a degree, kind of sit back and let things happen and play well and take advantage of counter-attacks when Arsenal overcommit. And when you are playing against the counter-attack, the last player you want to have running against you is, well, we probably previously would have said Heung-min Son, but the answer is Erling Haaland. On the counter-attack, Erling Haaland is an absolute machine. An absolute machine. So, yeah, I think Haaland is going to be so dangerous against Arsenal, and I could see City winning. I can actually see City winning by multiple goals, which is that, and that's my honest prediction. I don't want that to happen, but that's my honest prediction. Red Kermit says, Dan, you made me fall in love with FPL. I'm so glad. Like, I mean, that's really my hope here. It's just to get people more enthusiastic about FPL because I am. It's a really fun game, and when you really commit to it, especially when you're playing versus like rivals and your friends and you're competing against other people, it can be such good fun, and it's really a nice alternative to kind of gambling as well. And yeah, it just allows you to enjoy and appreciate so much more of football than just the team you support as well. It appreciates so many more players and team. It's brilliant. There we go. A couple of people said I'd be a good presenter. Maybe. Jay said I've studied graphic design. I'm now working in finance. Yeah, not too many jobs in graphic design, to be fair. Not too many jobs. Oh well. No salary is risky? I guess so. Is top 3 million a good rank? Spaghetti and Beans, I'm not going to lie to you, it's not an amazing rank, no. I think if you want to, when we start talking about good ranks, and this is going to be controversial because there'll be hardcore FPL players who have been playing since 1999, back then when there was only 3,000 players, and will say, well, if you're not top 1,000, then, you know, you're not very good, are you? If you're top 1,000, not only are you one of the best FPL managers in the world, but you're also one of the luckiest FPL managers in the world, because some of the best FPL managers in the world are still floating around the 100k to 500k mark right now. So if I'm honest, what is a good, objectively speaking, not just in our little FPL bubble, in the world, what is a good rank? Top million is fine. If you're a new player, top 1 million is fine. That's still better than top percent. That's top kind of what, like 9%? In the world, that's very good. Top probably 200-300k, in my opinion, is a good finish. It's not a amazing finish. It's not an amazing rank, but top 200-300k, I think you would struggle to convince me otherwise. I think that is a good rank. I think that is a good rank. And you can't expect, you can't expect perfect. And there's so many really good FPL managers these days. So there we go. The fake Azatai saying start March or Andreas. First of all, start March. Always start March. Second of all, we have unfortunately missed the deadline. Yeah, the deadline was was 12 minutes ago. Unfortunately. Oh dear. Jasmeet says, Dan, is it risky to go for only 7 double game week players in 34? Yeah, kind of. You say you don't want to take a hit, but I would just take a hit and get those doublers in. Dan, will you be making a Game Week 34 free hit video? Yes. I think I'm going to do that tomorrow, actually. I might even do it tonight and get it out early. Oh, do I need a break? I probably should take a break, shouldn't I? Oh, but my break is after the season ends. I'm going on holiday to Mallorca. Oh, Mallorca. Little Spanish island. Very nice. So we'll have a little holiday after the season ends. But until then, maybe we just need to push out some more content. Could I even get a video out tonight for free hit? Actually, no, that's pushing it. No video tonight. We'll have one ready for tomorrow. Free hit video tomorrow, I think. I think so. Come to India, please. We love you here. So I hear. But whereabouts in India? It's a huge country. There's no way I could see it all. Or is there? I don't know. Boma says, hey Dan, I usually get into the top 10k but can't stay up. How do I maintain that level? You don't. I'm sorry, Boma. You look, honestly, man, you literally don't. Top 10k is not possible on skill alone. It's not. People will argue with me, and people who have been lucky enough to get top 10k for the last like 3 years or whatever will say, oh no, I got it 100% through my own skill. It's not possible to get top 10k every year on skill alone. There will be another 20, 30,000 FPL managers just as skillful as those in the top 10k, but they just don't have the luck factor. So it's not possible to maintain. You have to be very good at FPL, but also get very lucky in FPL. Duncan says, when are you going? So am I. Start of Walkers, then home and flying to Waterloo for Fest. Ah, very nice, my friend. Very nice. I am going a little bit earlier, though. I'm pretty much going as soon as the FPL season ends. I think, like, the day after, I'm going away straight away. I'm going to be like, right, season's done. Videos are made. I'm off, guys. See ya. Bye. But, I'll tell you what, if I find anywhere in Mallorca I quite like, I'll let you know. We'll pass off some tips. Maybe. Is setting mini ranks targets a good idea? I mean, I don't see why not if it helps keep you motivated and it helps keep things fun. In general, anything that keeps FPL fun is a good idea. I set myself goals and things like that and targets in so much in lots of things that I do. It doesn't just have to be FPL. In life, in work, in other video games that I play, I'll set myself little targets and stuff like that. And it keeps things fun, it keeps things interesting, it keeps me on track of the kind of things I'm interested in doing. So yeah, if it keeps things fun and interesting, then absolutely, target those ranks. If you don't, if you think that makes things more stressful for you, then maybe not. Lonnie in the chat says, sitting just outside 1k overall, and I'll say it's about 10% down to my skill. I mean, there you go, my friend. I finished 243rd in the world last year. If you think I did that on skill alone, you have lost the plot. Because I've never finished anywhere near as high as that. Like, I'm not saying that I'm a bad FPL manager, because you do have to be a good FPL manager to get around. Well, I mean, for most people around that rank, they will be good FPL managers. And well, not everyone will be. So you have to be pretty good. But you also need a whole lot of luck. Because you're not just like competing against the best, you're also competing against the luckiest. There we go. Jolene says, we saw you a week and a half ago. You're a little taller than I thought you'd be. We were watching Newcastle Southampton Sunday. Tickets bought last November. Very nice. Very nice. You saw me a week and a half ago. Was that in Cambridge? Was that in Cambridge, Jolene? It might have been then. I did see some people out that night, for sure. I don't know if I saw, a couple of people who I briefly spoke to anyway, out and about in Cambridge on that evening. So, I don't know. Maybe it was then. Anyway, what's your plan for next game week? Probably take a -4. I mean, I've got two free transfers now, so we can have some bit of fun with the transfers now for the double game week. Might bring in Salah, might bring in Jota, might bring in Trent. Those are the kind of Liverpool players are the players I'm kind of targeting, really. I'd say could maybe go for another City player. I've got one free City spot. It was Jolene. Okay, well in that case, I think I remember the interaction. There we go. What else have we got in the chat? In India, come to Jaipur. I don't even know if I've heard of Jaipur. I must have heard of it. I couldn't place it though. I don't know where it is. What is like the problem is where do I, if I was to go to India, where would I go? Because I am partial to a culture shock. I like my home comforts. Is there anywhere in India that is like the UK? I don't know. Oh, I don't know. It might be a bit too much culture shock for me. I don't know. What should I do with McAllister? Keep him, I guess. Without being intrusive, whereabouts are you from? The East Anglia? Does that narrow it down a little bit? Yeah, I'm about an hour north of London. There you go. So yeah, just slightly norther than London, I guess. Not a Londoner, not a Northerner either. So don't get that one twisted. Mumbai is like the UK. JJ Singh says Goa. Goa, they love football in Goa, don't they? Kieran says, watching you from Zambia, talk about your reach. It's pretty impressive, to be fair. Like how widespread FPL fans are. Like, they never used to be. This is the thing. It used to be that FPL was played by kind of, fantasy football, like fantasy Premier League stuff, was played by kind of men, exclusively men, in their, in the late 90s, early noughties to mid noughties, even as far as 2010, it was exclusively men. It was primarily white men as well, living in the UK. But since then, it is just amazing how widespread it is and how everyone is involved now and how kind of diverse and the different kind of people we see represented in the FPL world as well. It's amazing. Mark Elder says, if you go to India and stay in Delhi, you can go out at night for an English. What is an English? Is that like an English person in the UK would go out for an Indian, and that means go out for like Indian food. So can you go out for English food in Delhi? What would that be like? I've always wondered. Like, what do people like from India, if they come to the UK and go out for an Indian, what do they think of Indian food in the UK? Dramedy says, do you speak español? No habla español. Mi español no es bueno. How's Morgan's season going? Terribly. A couple of people from Sweden. Sweden, Finland as well. Finland is the first thing I ever learned about Finland is that's where the popular late noughties game Habbo Hotel was made in Finland, I believe. So I loved Habbo Hotel. I spent a lot of time on Habbo Hotel. Habbo Hotel and RuneScape was basically my entire teenage years and childhood, to be fair. I just lived there. I lived in the realm of RuneScape and Habbo Hotel. Don't go to Delhi. Okay, I won't go to Delhi. So even India can't agree on where is the best place to visit. Jasmeet says, if you go to India, people who don't even know you will take selfies with me. Why? I don't think I would look that out of place in India, would I? I don't think so. Remember the Shrewsbury-Drewsbury punt at the beginning of the season? Yes, I do, actually. Yes, I do. RuneScape was bae. It really was. I still do. I haven't played in a while, but I do have an old school RuneScape account as well. Jasmeet says, I'm an Indian living in the US. Indian food is terrible. Oh, well, I can't say I'm totally surprised. Duncan, thank you very much for becoming a member of the channel. I do appreciate that, bro. I'm going to Chennai. I think I've heard of that. The 7 holy cities would be a start. What's the 7 holy cities? What are they? They sound so mystical and, I don't know, an air of mystique and wonder about them. Aurora in Finland? Oh, I'd love to see the Aurora Borealis, yeah. Kerala now is the most recent India holiday destination place. Duncan says, didn't realise it's only 99p a month. Bargain. Duncan, the benefits for joining the FPL Mates members zone, there's not really too many benefits, to be honest. You get a cool badge next to your name. Your name turns up as green on the screen. It is cheap, indeed. You get the emojis, to be fair. Okay, you get the emojis. It is cheap, Duncan. It is physically the cheapest that YouTube will let me set channel membership, because I appreciate that there is next to no benefits to it. It is just there as a bit of a gimmick. if I'm honest. I don't like paywalling content. It's something that I really, I've spoken about this quite passionately before. I don't like paywalling content. I appreciate that. I want to, FPL is something that people from all kinds of backgrounds and financial situations and even access to the services of YouTube membership. It is limited for certain people. It is limited for certain people, so we will continue to not paywall content. We will continue that trend because I want to keep. I mean, my content is probably not even worth paying for. Don't get me wrong, but I've got to keep things accessible. Linus says, "Are you getting a Wrexham top for your collection?" I thought about it. Were you team Saradomin, Zamorak, or Gothics? Zamorak, but that was mostly because I like the colour red. Although, if we're talking about trimmed rune armour, Saradomin had the best. Definitely. But Zamorak, it just was kind of... Can I be team Armadil? Is that it? Armadil Godsword? I love that sword. Hawksy says, "Have you ever been to Gran Canaria?" Yes, I have. I went a couple of times as a teenager. Actually, it was really quite nice. It's quite deserty though. It's like really like a deserty, mountainous kind of island. Rode a camel there, so you can ride a camel if you fancy that one. Bit weird, Spanish island riding a camel. You wouldn't expect it, but it's pretty much in Africa. The Gran Canaria, isn't it? It's closer to Africa than it is to Spain. Team Zamorak all the way. Big up. How long does it take for the game to update usually? Like, I don't know, like 45 minutes usually from deadline, I would say. I live in the USA and Indian food is bad in the US, way better in the UK. Really? All right. Anurag says, "If you are visiting for culture, Delhi and nearby city are better, but have the highest pollution. For beautiful mountain ranges, Kashmir. For a party vacation, Goa. For serene beaches, Kerala." Anurag, that is the perfect little introduction to India. Thank you very much, my friend. I like that the party vacation is appealing to me, and I know Goa is a football city, right? Bandos. Oh, yeah, Bandos. I like the Bandos armor. What's the best transfer you've done throughout your whole FPL? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe Antonio, when he was like a 1% differential. He was about to play Norwich and he got a hat-trick. That was a few years ago, though. That was a while ago. Which island did I go to? What, in the Canary Islands? I've been to Gran Canaria twice. I think that's it. I don't think I'd do any. I don't think I've done any others. JJ says, "Did that guy pay you $440 to talk about India?" No, I don't think that's $440. I think that's 440 rupees, and I don't know the conversion rate. So I appreciate all super chats in all in all currencies equally. But that's mostly because I don't know the exchange rates. I have no idea. Have you tried Moroccan food? No, but I don't know if I would like it. I don't know if I'd like that. Have you been to Nigeria? No. Antonio scored 4... Was it 4 goals? Oh, there you go. 4 goals against Norwich. That was that transfer. Bear in mind, part vacation Goa is best relative to Indian standards. For example, people will be frowned upon wearing bikinis. I mean, to be honest, Jasmine, I don't very often wear a bikini. So I think I might be able to get away with it. I don't know. It's a very Brit thing to go to a Spanish island for holidays. Oh yeah, 100%. It's because they basically make it like a mini England there. It's just England with sun. So it's amazing. You don't have to have a culture shock. You don't have to learn a new language, which is really embarrassing. That's one of the things I hate about British people the most, is that they refuse to speak foreign languages. I mean, I try at least. I'm just not very good. But you've got to put in the effort. Everyone appreciates a bit of effort, right? Would you go to Antarctica? I don't think so. A bit cold. In my opinion, last season, your best transfer was Jared Bowen. Oh, yeah, no, that was a good one. That was a good one last season. And Raheem Sterling as well, when everyone was doubting him. And Maddison, when everyone was doubting him. But, I mean, I got on the right end of so many lucky... I don't even want to call them punts, because they weren't punts. I had faith in these players. But I do have a bombastic style, and a lot of things paid off last year. I mean, if you go with your... Yeah, I know, Jasmine. I was just joking around. But, okay, yeah, that's fine. I mean, to be fair, if we were to go for India, we wouldn't be going to, you know, stroll around and get a suntan. We'd be there to kind of soak in a bit of the culture, I guess. There we go. Lots of people asking about different food. Ethiopian food, never tried it. Lebanese food, never tried it. Holiday destination. We always get onto holiday destinations, don't we? We need to find out. Well, speaking of food, I do actually need to make some. I'm getting pretty peckish. Getting pretty darn peckish right about now, guys. Let's see the team news from the very important Wolves versus Crystal Palace game, which I'm sure everyone is very, 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 very intrigued about. And then I'm going to go get some food. Let's see. Fardine says, oh, it is as my parents came here, so I never got why everyone goes to Spanish Island, and thanks for the explanation. Yeah, it's just because, like, it's just full of English people. Everyone speaks English. You know, you can just enjoy things that are familiar to you, but also it's really nice and sunny, and you have beaches, and you have, you know, swimming pools and stuff like that. So it's like an easy transition where you can just switch off and relax. You don't have to have all of these crazy things going on around you that you're not used to. You can just relax. And I think that's why a lot of people do it. In the UK anyway. Right. We got some team news yet? We need to refresh this one. Okay. We have the very annoying Wolves videos that I don't know why they do this. I hate it. I'm going to have to start it again. Right. Stop and mute as well. Weird. Stop doing these weird videos. I just want an image. Okay, so Sa, Samedo, Dawson, Kilman, Bueno, Lamina, Neves, Nunez, Huang, Cunha, Costa. Very good. And on the bench we got... Oh, Totti's on the bench. That's one thing, I guess. All right, there we go. And then Crystal Palace. Johnston remains in goal. Richards at right back. Gehi, Anderson, Mitchell, Hughes, Milivojevic, Lokonga, Elise, Ayew, Eze. Are we missing anyone from that team? No, not really. That's pretty much as expected. Not too many changes there. All right. So there we go. We've got the wonderful, very important Crystal Palace versus Wolves lineups. There we go. We'll leave it there, guys. Thank you so much for watching. We will be back tomorrow for more videos. We're not going to switch off. We've got to stay on the ball, guys. We've not got long left this season, and then the decision making is very key. So yeah, I'll do a free hit video tomorrow, and we'll see what else we can do as well. But yeah, sorry for that, guys. Thank you so much. Good luck at this game week. I hope you do really, really well, as long as you don't do better than me. Please join me over on Twitter at FPL Mate, where we will be covering all of the football live with commentary and chat and reaction on all that good stuff there. But aside from that, guys, thank you so much for watching once again, and I will see you later, mates. Bye-bye.